Animation is something I've always wanted to try, but I've always been a bit intimidated by for a number of reasons. It's time consuming, you have to have a fairly decent understanding of physics for it to actually look smooth or realistic. It's repetitive because you have to draw frames over and over again, and it's just something I have no knowledge of or experience with. But since short form content is what's really working for social media, is what people want now apparently. As artists who want to grow a social media audience, we kind of have to learn to adapt, and what's, at the end of the day, what people want now is short, attention-grabbing videos rather than longer, slow-paced videos or even photos. I would like to blame this on the birth of TikTok. Because after TikTok, all of a sudden Reels became a thing, and then we got YouTube Shorts, and now, people would much rather go watch these little, 15-second videos on TikTok rather than watching a longer video on YouTube or scrolling through images on Instagram. Even on Instagram now, it's you'll mainly grow an audience through Reels. It's not even through photos anymore. And as the type of artist I am, it just doesn't work the best for me because, people don't really want to sit and scroll through photos anymore. My art are all still images. The content that I can most easily produce with my art is speed paints or process videos and stuff like that on YouTube. But again, those aren't really the type, or even a process video on TikTok or Instagram, a shorter portrait mode video. It's still not something that's gonna go viral or really gain an audience because we've become a generation with very short attention spans. And I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone else, because I am definitely the same way. I definitely scroll past a lot of different videos on TikTok if they don't capture my interest in just a few seconds. I'm not saying I'm not included in this category, but it's just a little problematic with the type of content or with the type of art that I produce. So for an artist to really blow up and become something big online, at least these days, if you don't already have a following, then you kind of have to wow people, and by doing that, you have to do something really crazy, really out there that no one's done before, like making a drawing out of salt or something. I don't know, that's just something I could think of off the top of my head. But I don't really want to do these big, wacky, wow factor things. I just want to draw, So you'd either need to do something really impressive like that, or just be a really, really, really good artist. And I wouldn't exactly say I'm up in that category. I can't just blow up online just because my art is that impressive. In fact, I think there's very few people who could blow up just from a picture of their art for it being that good. So it's just unrealistic standards, and no one's really going to be able to do that. But I've noticed that there's one type of art that does a bit better than the rest without having to be something really expensive or extremely time consuming or way too unrealistically impressive, and that is animation. Because at the end of the day, it is something in motion. It's something I don't know, I feel it's kind of the equivalent of when you on TikTok, when you're hearing stories, but they have Subway Surfers or a Minecraft parkour video on the side, and you're just kind of watching that while listening, but you won't just sit there and listen unless you are watching Subway Surfers or something. I mean, humans are very visual creatures. We like to look at things, we like movement, we like color, so I guess it makes sense. The animation is something that pulls more people's attention than just still images of art, because more often than not, only other artists are really gonna appreciate art. Say my boyfriend or my friends, they're not gonna be scrolling through TikTok and just get art video after art video after art video and really appreciate all of them, spend time to and comment. They're not really going to commission people for art, It's more other artists that like to consume that kind of content and that can really appreciate it, and there's not a problem with that, but that makes it harder to grow and to really reach an audience because you're targeting such a small portion of people online. But animation is something that kind of interests everyone, I've noticed. I think any type of person, whether you like art or not, can watch an animation when it comes up on TikTok, because a lot of it will be funny or it'll be relatable. And either way, it's something that is easier to grab someone's attention because it's something moving. And yeah, I just think it's something that's a bit easier to succeed with because it's targeting a much bigger audience online. And because of that, I would like to start getting into more animation, because realistically, for me to be able to have, you know, an art career and to be able to live off of it, I need a bigger audience. That has always been the number one thing that I've struggled with, and that is reaching people. And I know there's a million things I could do to really maximize my shot online, but I am someone who has always been studying. I am a very busy person, so I can't really put as much time and effort into social media as someone who has that as their full-time job. I know that I'd be doing much better online if I was posting every day, but realistically, I just can't do that because I have responsibilities and things to do in life outside of art as well. But I think that stepping into the world of animation could maybe help my chances a bit, maybe at least on short-form content platforms like TikTok, because I'm putting most of my energy into YouTube and TikTok. Those are the two platforms that I have decided to focus on. I do want to dabble in animation a little bit and then see how that goes on TikTok. That way it's easier for me to follow trends as well. So that's what I'm going to be doing in this video. There's a song that's trending on TikTok right now. I think it's Vietnamese, and it's that Gwen Shana ding 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 ding. I'm not sure if there'll be any copyright problems by me adding this in my video. I'll see if I can do research and figure that out, but if not, literally just search for Gwen Shana on TikTok and you'll hear what I'm talking about. Most people have probably already heard it and seen it. And it's just a fun song. It's always stuck in my head, but it's kind of trending on TikTok now, and people are doing this little dance for it. And I've actually seen a lot of animations for this now. At the time that I started this animation, I hadn't seen that anyone else was doing animations of it yet. But since I started on this animation, I've seen like a fair amount of them pop up on my For You page. So yeah, this is an opportunity for me to actually jump on a trend for once on TikTok. And yeah, hopefully that will help boost my audience a little bit more. So I have little to no experience with animation. I actually had an animation class last year at uni. The class itself was called, it was actually called Graphic Media, and we would have a few weeks with animation, and then we'd have a few weeks with printmaking, and it kind of like flip-flopped between those two throughout the first year. I don't have animation or printmaking anymore this year, but yeah, my animation class last year was my first time actually like dabbling in animation. But it wasn't so much like frame by frame animation. We would use Adobe After Effects, so it was more learning the program, and it felt more like moving shapes on a screen than like actually illustrating an animation. It felt more like computer work, and when it comes to animation, I'd much rather just hand draw it. I prefer drawing it just frame by frame, rather than having all these different effects on a computer that I have to like mess around with. I just prefer doing it more that way, and I just prefer how it looks that way as well. So I prefer just drawing each frame on Procreate. So that's what I am doing in this video. I know there's this animation app now for Procreate. I think it's called Procreate Dreams or something. That's not something I would spend money on unless I was completely sure that I wanted to keep animating. So yeah, if you turn on animation assist in settings on Procreate, you can make your own little animation. So yeah, the only experience I have, or like the only things I've actually animated, I think at the very beginning of my animation class, we had to animate a character like waving, but we did it on paper because I think we were learning how to like ping pong an animation. I forget all my animation terms now, but like it would be like 3 different frames, and then the frames would like repeat backwards so that it looked like a character was waving. But yeah, that was the only thing I really did. I did animate this really cool lightning strike. I'll see if I can find it. I do think this is probably one of the coolest things I've ever made. Definitely the coolest thing I've ever animated. So I will look for it and then show it on screen now, hopefully. And then before I made this animation, I tried animating a ball bouncing. And yeah, I actually did that because I was talking with my boyfriend, I think it was just last weekend, and we were discussing like how animation does well on TikTok, and he suggested that I should try animating. And then I sat there and I literally just animated a ball bouncing, and for I spent like 20 seconds on it just to show him that like I could probably animate, even though I have no experience and no knowledge, but at least I could do this, you know? And then he was like, oh, that's good, you should animate. So that's how this whole video came to be. But yeah, I think those are the only 3 things I've animated. Back in the day, I probably drew a character and then animated them blinking, but that's about as far as I've gone. But I think being more versatile is always good for artists because things are always changing. There's always new technology. Obviously, AI is coming into play now, which is changing the art industry a lot. I think it's good for all artists to be able to draw both on paper and digitally. It doesn't matter which you prefer or which you do more of. I think every artist should know the basics for both. Most artists could probably benefit from both illustrative and graphic knowledge. And I think artists should dabble in animation. I probably think forgetting some other things that's just good for artists to also be able to dabble in. Those are the things that I can think of off the top of my head. So yeah, I'd like to have a few things under my belt, you know, in case the day ever did come where I had a specific commission. This animation started off as being just like a little character. Like it wasn't supposed to be anyone specific. I was just practicing animation, but then I showed it to my boyfriend and he suggested that I try animating a character. So I thought I'd just take this animation and then use it as a base, and I would just draw Jinx. I don't know why I chose Jinx. It could be because the second season of Arcane came out not too long ago. It could be because I've been doing a fair amount of Jinx art lately. I'm more familiar with it. It's probably the character I'm the most familiar with at the moment, just because I did so many drawings of her in the past like 2 months. So I figured why not? She's a loved character. There's a big fan base. Like maybe people online will like it. So yeah, and I love her, so I may as well just draw Jinx. So yeah, I used my animation as a base, and then I sketched Jinx over each of the layers. And then after the sketch, I went in with some line art so that I could have some clean lines. I just used a little like sketchy pencil for the lines because I didn't want it to look too stiff. I'd rather have a little bit shaky, like imperfect lines, because I think that makes it feel more fluid or more alive. And then after that, I figured why not just color it as well. Granted, it is a lot more work adding colors to everything. It's a lot more work adding line art and everything, but I've never done it before, so you know, why the hell not? Coloring was a little bit hard. I kind of wish that the frames in Procreate could have layers, so the same frame could have both like a line art and a coloring layer. Like I could have separate layers within the frame, but when you animate in Procreate, then the different layers are the frames. And I kind of like messed around with this for a bit, trying to figure out how I was gonna color this, and I ended up just turning off animation assist, so I went back to just being like a normal canvas on Procreate, just so I could actually use layers, so I could color underneath the line art. And then when I was done, I just kind of merged the layers and turned animation assist back on, and then it's back to just being a normal animation, and then the animation was done. It's not the smoothest, but I think that for this trend, it didn't really have to be, because I think a lot of the animations I've seen for this like trend or for this song, it's been like you really only have 2 frames for that for the ding 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 part, you know, the little dance in the middle. So it didn't really have to look the smoothest. And yeah, I think for a first full, can I call it a full animation? I think for a first animation, yeah, I'm happy with it. I think it's fine. I think it's cute. I like the little cute look. Obviously, I wasn't trying to make it look like Arcane art style. I wasn't trying to make it look even semi-realistic. I've gone for a more cartoony approach, but I think I don't know, I think that kind of works with animation. I think going for a more cutesy look is kind of nice. So yeah, I think it's fine. I think I spent around 3.5 hours on this, like including the initial animation that I used as the base. So yeah, I didn't spend way too much time on it, but still more time than I should have, considering I have a pretty big project at uni right now. So yeah, probably not the best project or personal project to take on when I have so much other work I should be doing. But yeah, maybe I'll start doing some more TikTok trend animations and just stuff like this if you guys like it. It's a pretty long video. I hope I've managed to fill up the time fine with this voiceover. I think it's a quite long voiceover, but then again, this video is like 20 minutes long, so I need a decent amount of content. So 2 projects that I'm working on at the moment. The biggest thing is my children's book project for uni. I think we have either 4 or 5 weeks left. I think it might be 4 weeks, so I really need to get my butt in gear. I need to start working on it. I've done some character sketches, I've done some story planning, so it's time to start working on like planning out the pages. I need to start working on thumbnails and roughs. So that's what I'll be doing today, because I'm recording this voiceover a few days before this video comes out. I'm doing this on Thursday. The video will come out on Sunday. Because I have like an independent working day on Thursday at uni. So that's the day where I try to be really productive. I'll try to get a lot of work done. So I think when I'm done recording this, I'm going to try to do some more project work, because I really need to get some more stuff done or I'm going to be very, very, very busy in those final weeks of the project. And I don't like being rushed, so it's better to just, get some work done in advance. But maybe I can make a video out of the project, so I don't have to worry about making a separate video as well. I can just focus on the project. And yeah, hopefully you guys are interested in that. Other than that, I would like to have a little Valentine's Day drawing done. I've kind of started on it. Valentine's Day is still a bit away, right? Just like 2 weeks until I've got this. But yeah, those are the only real things that I have planned at the moment. But until I'm done with my big project for school, I probably won't have a lot of other things, like personal work planned. To what I've been up to lately, I've spent most of my free time working on this animation, so I've just done a lot of drawing this week. I am still on the 2nd Zodiac Academy book. I've been reading way too much lately, so still working on that. I've been playing some Infinity Nikki. I watched the first 2 High School Musical movies with my boyfriend last weekend, so we'll probably watch the 3rd one this weekend. So by the time this video comes out, I would have already seen it. And yeah, just because they were my childhood. I love those movies. And yeah, that's about it. Between uni and traveling, I don't have time for much else, but yeah, gotta start working on that project. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys would like to see more animation, then let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys next Sunday.